watch the video again. I mean, for multiplication of integers, so this is very easy. All you need to remember is ang inyong multiplication table. Okay? And these rules of signs. Okay? Now, maglisod yun mo ani pag mo kay ba mag-multiply. Okay? But anyway, you have your calculator with you. As of this moment, I cannot strictly say that you don't have to use your calculator. So I'm okay with it as long as you are not going to depend on it. Okay, nga ginagmay maskin kahibaw mo 2 times 3, kahibaw na mong 6 i-calculate pag yun. So just be responsible in using your calculator. It's better to use calculator than not answering at all. Okay? So, mag-multiply tayo integers. You have to remember, you have to follow kaniya mga rules of signs. When you are multiplying, again, when we multiply, we do not use x anymore. Because after this lesson, ato na tas polynomial, we will be using x a lot. Okay, x, y, and z, and all among all other nga mga alphabet letters. Okay, so if you are multiplying two positive numbers, the answer is positive. If you are multiplying two negatives, the answer is still positive. But if you are multiplying unlike sign integers, two unlike nga mga or different sign nga mga integers, the answer is negative. So again, two numbers only. This is applicable to two numbers only. Example, negative 1 times 5. So as a negative and positive, multiply, so that is different sign. So the answer will be, so 1 times 5 is 5, negative 5. Then, negative 7 times negative 20. Both are negative, so the answer is a positive 140. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And then, what if kung tulo? I said kaganina with emphasis, no, for two numbers only applicable. Pag tulo na gani, so this is, itagsa-tagsa ninyo multiply class, so this is negative. Dili pwede ni may ratsyada, oy pareha silang tanan negative, so that's positive 19. No. Negative 9 times negative 10, di ba positive 90, right? So positive 90 times negative 1, different sign ang pod, so the answer is negative. So that's it. In division of integers, so the same ang iyang kaya na ang rules sa sign. Of course, lahi lang sila operation because you have to divide. So, kung mag-divide ka puro positive, puro negative, the answer is positive. But if you are dividing different sign ng mga integers, the answer is negative. Say for examples, 30 divided by 60, so both of them are positive, so positive 5. Negative 27 divided by negative 3, still both are positive, negative. The answer is positive. Kaya pareham silang sign, divide. Then, negative 36 divided by 2, dili sila parehang sign, so negative 18. 40 divided by negative 5, dili parehang sign, so negative 8. So, that's for division of integers. Now, since ang atong lesson is operation on the set of real numbers, dili na ko magbalik sa fraction because that would be too long. So, let's kindly watch na lang the short nga mga videos nga akong i-compile para ma-remind mo on how to operate fraction. Kaya maura mang yun na ang kasagaran, mabantay ako nga galisod ang kasagaran, no, most of you. So, kindly watch this kanang mga few nga mga video compilations, and then sa decimal, so you can operate decimal using your calculator. I have no problem with that. So, kaya na ang aho lang i-appeal din hiya for review is the fraction. Then, the rest of the signs, parihara sila og rule sa integers. So, ang inyong halang kuhaon is ang unsaon to, i-review lang nyo unsaon ang fraction. Kaya naa sa tumansiranan, i-appeal ang fraction of ang decimal. So, let's watch these videos.
adding fractions with a common denominator. We have two fractions, and here's a model to represent them. We have to add them together. Both of the wholes are divided up into 8 parts, so we've got denominators of 8 on both of these fractions. In total, we have some number of parts out of 8. We add the shaded parts to find out how many parts we've got, and that's going to be our numerator. 3 plus 4 is 7 parts out of 8. If I remove the model and we just focus on the fractions, you can see the denominator is unchanged. It stays as parts out of 8. So you can see, when you add fractions, if the denominator is the same, you keep it and just add the numerators. In this example, we've got 6 parts out of 10 plus 2 parts out of 10. 6 plus 2 is 8 parts out of 10. But then I can say to you, I want you to reduce your fraction to its lowest terms. If you've watched my other films on fractions so far, you'll say to yourself, I know what to do here. 8 and 10 are both even numbers, so they can be divided by 2. I can simplify this fraction. And when you divide top and bottom by 2, you get 4 over 5. That is a simplified fraction. It is now reduced to its lowest terms. The rule is, if you can reduce a fraction to its lowest terms, have a Nike moment and just do it. And you may be asked to add more than 2 fractions together, like this. 4/7 plus 2/7 plus 5/7. Here's a quick way of laying this out so you don't make any mistakes. And I use this myself all the time. I have a common denominator of 7, so I know my answer will be something over 7. I'm going to extend the fraction bar. Then I write in my numerators over the top. 4 plus 2 plus 5. This strategy is designed to make sure students don't make the mistake of accidentally adding denominators. And you know, we never add the denominators. Next, you just add it up. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 5 is 11. We get 11 over 7. That's the numerators added, but now we've got an improper fraction, so it won't do. But that's okay, because you know how to change it to a proper fraction, don't you? Remember how? The denominator is 7. That means there's 7 parts in one whole. How many groups of 7 are there in 11? Well, there's one lot of 7, and what's left over? Count it up. 8, 9, 10, 11. 4 left over, and that's our numerator. Put that back over the original denominator of 7, and we're done. Our answer is 1 4/7. Adding fractions with different denominators. Last time, when we added fractions that have a common denominator, we learned that we keep the denominator and just add the numerators. That's easy enough. This time, we'll add these fractions with different denominators. Here's a diagram to represent each fraction. And you can see that if we add these together using the diagrams, this is what we get. 1, 2, 3 quarters. Let's save that up here on a note. We can also add these fractions without using diagrams. The first step is to make it easy for ourselves. It's easy to add fractions that have the same denominator, so we make it easy by creating a common denominator for these fractions. You've seen me do that before, you've done it yourself, you know what to do. We've got denominators of 4 and 2. Our common denominator is going to be 4. To get a denominator of 4 here, we multiply by 2. So we do the same to the numerator, and that's 2 over 4. Now it's very easy. We just add the numerators. 1 plus 2 is 3. Keep the denominator and we're all done. 3 quarters, just like you saw when we did this problem using the diagrams. You can see we don't have to use a diagram. We can make a common denominator instead. That's easy enough, isn't it? Let's do a couple more to make sure you're okay with this. And obviously, there will be a bit more thinking in each of these because I don't want you falling asleep if you think it's too easy. First, we look at the denominators. We've got 2, 3 and 6. If you know your tables, you'll spot that 2 and 3 are both factors of 6. So 6 is the lowest common denominator. 5/6 stays as it is. For 2/3, to get a denominator of 6, I multiply 3 by 2. So I multiply the numerator by 2, and that's 4/6. For 1/2, to get a denominator of 6, I multiply the 2 by 3. So I multiply the numerator by 3. 3/6. I can write my answer's denominator straight away. Our final fraction will be something over 6. And now we just have to add the numerators. 5 plus 4, that's 9, plus 3, that gives us 12/6. That is an improper fraction, and we can't leave it like that, so we have to work it out. 12 divided by 6. How many 6's are there in 12? There's 2 lots of 6 in 12. There's no remainder, so there's no fractional parts to show. Our answer is just 2. When we add these fractions, we get a whole number in our answer. Cool! Multiplying fractions for the first time. 3/5. We know that we can multiply the numerators together now, so top times top. 2 times 3 is 6. Then multiply the denominators together, bottom times bottom. That's 15. 6/15. Is that it? Nope. We have to reduce if possible, and 6 and 15 are both in the 3 times table. They're divisible by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. Our final answer is 2/5, 2/5. Remember, if we can reduce the fraction for our final answer, we must reduce it. Otherwise, you only get half marks because you only did half the job. Fractions division, or dividing fractions using this example. The problem starts like this, but we have to do something to get the numbers to work so we can get to that answer of 4, which we already know is correct. What we do is a little bit of math manipulation. We flip this right-hand fraction over. This action has a couple of technical math names. It's called finding the reciprocal or the inverse. All we do is flip it over. Very easy. And when you invert the fraction like this, you also have to swap to the inverse operation. Inverse means opposite. The opposite of division is multiplication, so we swap the sign from divide to multiply. And you know how to multiply fractions. We reduce, then multiply, or we multiply, then reduce. Either way, you get the same result. I prefer to reduce first, so I divide by 2 because these are both even. And that gives us 1 here and 4 here. Now we multiply out, and that's 4/1. Any number over 1 equals the numerator as a whole number. 4, the same as we got using the diagram. That's pretty amazing. Using the diagram, we proved that 1/2 divided by 1/8 is 4, and now we have a math method to get us there easily without needing a diagram. So let's work another one, and this one a bit more tricky. 3/5 divided by 1/3. And remember, it means how many times does 1/3 go into 3/5? I'm not using a diagram for this one, straight to the math method instead. Our fraction on the left stays the same. We get the reciprocal of the right-hand fraction. We flip it. and that gives us 3 over 1. When we invert that fraction, we also use the inverse operation. Swap the sign from divide to multiply. Now, it's not possible to reduce this problem, so we're going to go straight to multiplying out. Top times top gives us 9 over bottom times bottom is 5. It's an improper fraction, and as you know, we can't leave it like that. We have to change it to a mixed number. So 5's into 9, that's one whole group of 5 and a remainder of 4. Put that back over the denominator of 5 and we're done. Our answer is 1 4/5.
So that's it. Hope you learned something from the videos I shared to you, as well as sa ato ang pag-answer, you're going to do it diligently and honest as possible. So, if you have any question, again, you can reach me out through sa ato ang kanang group chat or through PM, or you can ask me directly through my contact number. So, that would be all. Thank you everyone. Have fun with our activities.